This thing is so fucking light. Like, this little tiny box in my hand is a powerful computer. Alright, so I bought the new M1 Mac Mini. I bought it a couple days after it was announced, so during the pre-order phase, and it took like 3 weeks to get here, which was the like longest 3 weeks of my life, it felt like. But I've had it for about a week and a half now, so I'm kind of just gonna go over my kind of first impressions of it, and kind of also like a rundown of the daily kind of things I use it for. Alright, so first I just want to talk about why I chose the MacBook Mini over some of the other M1 chips that were also announced. So my main computer for these past 4 years has been a 2016 13-inch MacBook Pro with the Touch Bar. And I've, had the thing for 4 years. It's basically been with me throughout my whole, years of college. But, I've put it through a lot. There's some physical wear that it's gone through. Like on the outside, the right arrow key, it doesn't work anymore. It's not even, the key's not even there anymore, because, when you're going through photos, you're just pressing next and next and next, and I'm just doing that so much, going through so many photos, it just, fell off, the key just fell off on me. So that's one thing. Another thing is, you get 4 USB-C ports on it, and out of the 4, one of them does not work anymore. It stopped working like 2 years ago. Don't know why, so, out of the 4 ports, only 3 of them are still working. And then there's also just a scratch on the screen that I accidentally cut with my knife. I was opening a box and just kept going and cut the screen. So yeah, those are some, outside wears it's taken, and then some of the, hardware stuff. Like, we know when I was first starting out 4 years ago, I was working with these small, like, kilobyte file sizes from, like, a camera that wasn't even a full-size sensor camera. And then comparing that to now, where I'm working with these phase 1 cameras with 150 megabytes just raw files in themselves. And then you also have, those raw files that I'm taking into Photoshop and spitting out these like 4 to 5 gigabyte size files as well. And then also, doing 4K videos. This thing is just not being able to keep up as well. It still, works fine. It can obviously do these things, but, it lags a little bit, and then it just can't keep up as well. And you just hear its fan just like going through it, like this little thing, like, I can do it, I can do these files, I'm just pushing through it, but it just can't really do some of the things that I'm kind of now doing all the time. So that's kind of why I wanted a new faster computer. And so the reason I chose the MacBook over the Mac Mini over some, the MacBook or the MacBook Air that was also released is because, I wanted a more permanent desktop setup, kind of because that's where I am at the point in my career. And, obviously with the MacBooks, you get like a 13 or a 16-inch screen, and I didn't really want that small of a screen. So I'm now working with a 27-inch screen, and it is a lot better. I enjoy it a lot more because I get to see, more of my image or more of my videos. I get to have more layouts of real estate available, if that makes sense. And just have multiple windows open and stuff like that. So that's just why I chose the Mac Mini over some of the other computers. So out of the 2 new Mac Minis that were released, I got the cheaper version, the one with 256 gigabytes of SSD storage, because I put all my files on hard drives, so I don't actually keep anything just natively on the computer itself. So I didn't really need the 500 gigabytes of storage because that was just unnecessary to me. And the only upgrade I really did make, though, was instead of the 8 gigabytes of memory that you can get, I upgraded it to 16 gigabytes of memory, because when I'm running things in like Photoshop or Premiere, things just run smoother and faster because it's able to process it more efficiently than it would 8 gigabytes. So that's why I did that, and it was only like $130 extra. So that brought my grand total up to like $950. So still under $1,000 for the computer, which was nice. Only having the Mac Mini for a week and a half, I've already been able to notice some improvements between working on that and then my older computer. So to the applications that I use the most are Photoshop and Premiere Pro. And in Photoshop, it has been able to keep up with my large file size. I'm not seeing any lag, and I'm not waiting for it to catch up while I'm quickly, doing things in it, which is very nice. And then with Premiere Pro, my videos are rendering and exporting a lot faster than they were before. But then kind of at the same time, when I am in Photoshop and I'm doing things that are supposed to work or doing things it's supposed to do, it has having some trouble keeping up with that, and that is because the Adobe systems have not been updated yet to run natively on the new M1 chips yet, and because of that, things, aren't working as fast, as efficiently as they should compared to, like other Apple products that Apple has made, like Final Cut Pro, DaVinci. Those have already been made to work smoothly and perfectly on the new M1 chips. So Adobe said it should be about January when that will start to happen, and everything will just run a lot smoother and faster from there. So kind of just have to wait until that happens. Now, a downside to this computer are the limited ports that it has. You only get 2 USB-C and 2 USB ports on it, and kind of unlike the 2018 Mac Mini, you've got 4 USB-C ports, so it is kind of sucked that it has been downgraded from 4 to 2 ports. So that is annoying, and you could probably just be thinking, well, why don't you just use a bunch of dongles and adapters, and then that way you'll get 5 times more of the ports. But for me, I mainly plug in my hard drives, so when plugging in hard drives to an adapter and transferring memory between stuff, it takes a lot longer than it would just plugging them in natively. And then also, these things are very cheap. I got this off of Amazon for like $10, so trusting the little cheap piece of plastic to handle terabytes and terabytes of my files, and if something does go wrong, that just doesn't really seem worth the risk for me. And the ports are also on the back, which is a very stupid design, kind of just like the iMacs. They went for the nicer look over the more practical option, when probably me and most other people out there would rather take the practical option. But for me, I kind of just, turn my Mac to the side. That way it's a little bit easier to plug stuff in. It does run the new Mac OS system, Big Sur, and so far, it's been okay. It kind of seems like with every new update to the OS system, they try and make it more customizable. But for someone like me, when all I want to do is edit photos and videos, I don't really need the customizableness to it, and then it kind of just makes things more annoying because, I can't find things, or things keep popping up and distracting me when I'm just, trying to edit a photo. But overall, this is a very powerful computer for being under $1,000, and this is also kind of just the beginning of what these M chips can do. Down the line, they're just going to keep getting more powerful and powerful. And by saying that, you could be thinking, well, why didn't you just wait until, something's even more powerful, probably in the next year or two? But kind of for me and where I am in my life right now, I just really needed a new computer that could keep up with the things that I'm doing, because my MacBook was, suffering a little bit. So that's mainly the reason why I bought this new Mac Mini, because for the things that I do, this was the perfect computer for me, and that's really the only thing that matters when you're getting a new computer.